Welcome. Today I discuss how Virtua Fighter fumbled on Vanessa Lewis, their first black woman character. Let's get into it, shall we? I can imagine that this character was a breath of fresh air when she made her first appearance in Virtua Fighter 4. She's an athletic, dark-skinned, muscular black woman with a militaristic background. When you think about it, it's not the most unique, right? But if you compare her to the other Virtua Fighter 4 characters, she was actually a unique character in regard to her build. She was quite toned. I think she's also a beautiful character. You could also say that she does resemble Storm from X-Men because of her white hair and her appearance. I thought the white hair was cool. Based on her story in Virtua Fighter 4, to me it didn't feel like the stereotypical one and done role I saw of black characters in video games. She was a determined character, she was caring, she had quite a role in the story. She was out there to avenge her father and find out who killed him. She was also out there to protect Sarah Bryant, who J6 had their eye on and wanted to essentially kill. She actually seems to have a bit of dimension. You may not think that because her winning quotes and stuff like that, but I'm also talking about the narrative here. But let's get into what I really want to discuss, and that is the colorism when it came to Virtua Fighter 5. This has always existed, but only recently was it given a name. The term, coined by writer and activist Alice Walker in her 1983 essay book, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens, she defined it as the prejudicial or preferential treatment of same-race people based solely on their colour. Additionally, colorism is the discrimination of people based on skin tone or shade, in which those who have darker skin are targeted, othered, and ostracized, and generally given negative stereotypes compared to those with lighter skin tones, which are given preference and generally associated with positive stereotypes. It's rooted in racism. Colorism is prevalent in the stereotypes seen between lighter and darker complexions in popular media and has real-life stipulations and consequences. It has a long, complex history in various cultures and is very damaging. Note the skin bleaching industry. And I've seen in Japanese games the darker skin equals evil trope is still used in such contexts. Just terrible. Now, how does this link to the Virtua Fighter character? Well, in Virtua Fighter 4, one of her main outfits got replaced in the US version. The reason from game director Daichi Katagiri, when asked in 2006 about this, was that in America they told us it was too sexy. I don't understand that because it's funny, we have characters in Virtua Fighter that wear swimsuits as costumes, alt outfits. We can have a nude, almost translucent looking character like Dural, but apparently Vanessa wearing her main outfit is too sexy. Now, what does that actually mean? What do they mean by that statement? It's very weird. I'll let you ponder on that. Now, here's where the problem really starts. In Virtua Fighter 5, Vanessa Lewis looks drastically different. She has a very light skin tone. It's like it's not even the same character. Now, this iteration, and I say iteration because she looks nothing like the Virtua Fighter 4 Vanessa that we know, and that shouldn't have been changed. This iteration is not as toned, but more busty, has softened facial features, and has more of a slimmer, lean physique. She literally looks like Halle Berry. I don't know if they based her face on Halle, which had me confused. This links to my point about colorism. What were they trying to say here? That dark skin is bad? That along with this physique means she's more desirable and beautiful? Not only was this a bad decision, but an outright offensive one. Some would say it has to do with marketability, but I honestly call bullshit on that. I know this is not a Western only issue, because don't get me started on colorism in Japan. There was nothing wrong with her in the first place. For them to actually do this reinforces and implicates the very colorist rhetoric that having skin of a lighter complexion is, quote, better, unquote. This was the weirdest choice. It's more so to do with the context and connotations behind this choice that has me actually messed up. What the hell? Now, what pissed me off the most about this choice was that in Virtua Fighter 5, They gave her older skin tone back, as well as her muscularity as a customization item? What the fuck? Look, I don't know what the implication here is for doing this. Is it because they realized they fucked up in making that choice? But the damage had already been done. Can women not be muscular? Anyway, they fumbled, and if they continue this in the next game, which is Virtua Fighter 6, then I'll be laughing because these devs are such idiots. Still, there has been no explanation as to why they did this, why AM2 or the developers even made this decision. With this drastic change, they may as well promote skin bleaching products. I'm not even joking, because look at this. Is this Vanessa the same as this Vanessa over here? If you didn't play Virtua Fighter 5 for this reason, I 100% understand. They fumbled with Vanessa Lewis. There was no reason to make any of those changes. It's very important in regard to these discussions to not leave out race and colorism when it comes to these topics. To say that people are overreacting or that it's a non-issue are once again invalidating the opinions of those who've been affected or experienced colorism. The argument made on this discussion against this change is very clear. It was a terrible choice. Now, people will say two things. One, it's Japan, so... And number two, it's a fictional character. In regard to number one, at this point, and especially in this day and age, there is no excuse for devs to not ask questions or get a second opinion on something. Clearly, there was no second opinion, and clearly they did this for the sake of, quote, marketability, unquote. But then when you say marketability, you're essentially saying that's better, and already, again, as I said, that has negative implications. So that excuse I am not listening to. In regard to number two, people use that to invalidate other people's opinions on topics like video games. But these characters, they're based and modeled on human beings, no? Therefore, I'm not listening to that viewpoint. Of course, whether they care or not is another topic, which in this case, they don't care. But the point is, this change was very offensive, racist, and of course colorist, because essentially, as I said before, you're saying that Vanessa being a dark-skinned character was an issue. That's what I'm getting at, and that's why it rubs me the wrong way, and I hate it. I hate that. And no one can tell me that was a good decision. And people can say another thing, which is, this happened years ago. Why are we still talking about this? Well, because they've kept the damn design still. This is just the worst. And those are my thoughts on the topic. Why is it the case that dark skin is a problem, but light skin isn't a problem? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.